year, new me, who are you, boy? If you're in my way, you better move, boy. I don't ever miss a cue like schoolboy. Ain't no telling what I'ma do, boy. Ha, 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 ha. I bet you thought you had me figured out, but nah, 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 nah. I'm way too unpredictable.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren, and tonight I'm joined by Jason and Sam. How are we going, fellas?
We're going.
Doing just great.
Doing just great. So, again, our new intro there, you may have noticed. Fancy, quick little shindig to kind of get the show started. Thanks to Norman San again for helping us out there with our theme song, which is called New Year, New Me, which you can also check out on Spotify. And he also has a pretty awesome website. Tuna, we've been talking a little bit about our love for or our passion for that song. And it was funny. So, Sam may not know this, but we've been trying to find a title track for some time. And we stumbled across this one, just as fans of music. We stumbled across his website, stumbled across his stuff. I actually found him on Instagram. It just popped up on one of my reels. And I was like, that's an amazing song. And I shared it with Jason. And I was like, hey, we should try to see if we can get this song for approval. And we reached out to him, and he's been a great guy. I'm trying to get him on the show just to kind of come and talk about the track and say hi, to the show.
I really didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those things where you never know until you ask. And he's a great guy. We've had a couple of conversations through Instagram and a couple of other areas, and really thankful to have Norman San on board. Thanks for supporting the show, Norman, if you're listening. And if you are interested, please check out his stuff. He's great.
Well, now that I follow on Instagram, I listen to all his stuff, and it really is really good. He is.
Well,
good.
It's funny. I've had him on repeat on my Spotify playlist for now because he's got an album that's of just tracks, right? So there's, I've had him on repeat in my car for a while now, and I stuck in my head. Can't get it out of my head. But anyway, Sam, how you doing, buddy? How's things? How's life?
It's good. Not too bad. The show on my other podcast is doing okay, and just busy with work and stuff. Just pretty typical stuff. Nothing too crazy. It's about the same. I'm pretty basic and vanilla. My life's not that. I don't have a lot of stuff going on. So if you ask me 3 months from now, it'll probably be the same thing. So.
Well, for those of you who are maybe tuning in for the first time, Sam is from the Nomad Tech Project, which is another amazing podcast that you can check out every Sunday, Sam? Is that about
Sunday.
right?
Yep,
Sundays afternoons and or evenings, whenever, depending on when you're listening. Great cross-promotion. Great way to share the love, right? So this week, guys, has been a very interesting week of tech stories because we've had everything from Tim Cook popping up in a Super Bowl commercial, or rather promotional commercial, is probably a better way to put it. We've had Google Gemini.
Yes.
Coming out hot today.
If you look at our
logo,
thumbnail, my God, I'm losing my mind here. So there's a picture of some faces and some. So basically, I typed Bard Gemini just introduced AI art.
Yes.
So I typed in, I don't remember what I typed in now, technology, something generic. I generate a picture of today's technology, and that's what it kicked out. One of the couple. So I just said, I'm going to throw it up there just to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So share it away. So I was actually surprised because here in Canada, we actually just got access for the very first time to Google Gemini today. So we have not had access to Google Bard since the Pixel 8 Pro release. So a lot of those.
Well, Bard's been online, not really on the phone. I mean, the app is now, but
yes, it's region locked.
Okay.
So here in Canada, we haven't been able to access it. So even like some of the features and a lot of people may not know this, but on the Google Pixel 8 series, a lot of those features are actually not available to Canadians. So some of the AI things have been kind of locked down. Now, I was actually surprised when I woke up this morning and I'm, drinking my morning coffee and I'm reading, all my news and everything in between. Happened to be doing a Google search and saw Google Gemini now available here in Canada. And I was like, wow, amazing. So I obviously naturally went and, typed in 5 million commands to see what it could do and test its skill. So I guess my first question would be, yeah, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No, what do you think?
So I do use Chat GPT occasionally for some random shit. It's never a consistent experience. It's, I'll give you an example. Someone asked me the other day to write a reference letter for somebody for a job that they were going for. I know them quite well. They were going for a job that they wanted some very specific targets, some very specific things being said. I wrote the letter out. I wasn't happy with the way that it sounded, so I kind of pumped it into Chat GPT and I asked it, take a look at this, see if you can fix this nonsense up. And it just kind of fixed up a couple of things, like grammar and sentence structure and a couple other things. It pumped out something that sounded pretty professional and, which is the opposite of me usually. So yeah, I had the applications are there, I guess. And for as far as the Google stuff's concerned, so this is my first experience using it.
Okay.
I find it a little slow, maybe is the way to put it. Like I found that it does generate very accurate results, but I found like its ability to just kind of pump it out quickly.
Right.
Maybe just a couple of beats behind like the Chat GPT and even Copilot to a certain degree as well.
Huh. Interesting.
I've
used it a handful of times, and what I did, I think it was just yesterday. I never used Chat GPT. I mean, I've used it a few times, but not. I use Bard for everything.
Yeah.
And I typed in like, give me a summary of, I don't know what it was, something generic, and both of them were very similar, Chat GPT and Google. But there's two distinct differences I found out. When my daughter likes to do art, and she likes wolves for some, whatever reason, and she wanted a wolf that was like glowing green. So I said, generate a picture of a toxic wolf. That's what popped in my head. And Bard would not do it. Gemini Bard would not do it because the word toxic was in it, which is a negative thing. So that comes in, which is good because Google, Microsoft, they're all in that consortium that's, supposed to limit AI so we don't have any weird stuff. That's the one thing I noticed about Bard. They're very particular about word usage.
Yes.
Chat GPT is outdated. Like I typed in the OnePlus 12 and you know what it gave me? The OnePlus 10 and 11 specs.
Yes.
So I get it. The model has to be updated. And I didn't try that with Bard, but when I typed in like, give me a summary of some war, I don't know what, I was just making stuff up.
Yeah.
Almost verbatim with just a couple switcheroos. Like everything was almost the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's something that they're just searching the same spot and everything's just, I don't know. But I like Bard. I know they're working on something called Memories too down the road where it'll actually, you could say, keep this in my memory and it can read. Yeah. But that's, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it should be coming out near in the future.
So Sam, have you used any of these artificially intelligent tools, I guess, is the way we'll put it?
No, not in a professional sense. And personally, no. I don't have any need to. Like I said, I guess just because of the nature of my work, I kind of know what I'm doing. It's good to, I guess if I needed to I want to think about maybe writing a Python script or something like that, or some code or Bash, or it'd be kind of nice as, hey, I want to try to do this. And then maybe I would use it to basically check against what I would come up with. Like if I were stuck, or if I'm writing something I think would work for what I'm trying to do and it's maybe not working correctly, I would actually maybe have it scrub through it and see maybe I'm missing syntax or I'm missing something else going on. But no, I just, again, I'm not in that space. I don't have to write professional documents. I'm not writing technical specs. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. So I just don't have any reason to engage with it. I'm sure at some point I will. And I'm curious to see more in the code space, like people who write code and that kind of thing. I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to shake out. Like if you're trying to ask it to generate, something like that.
Actually,
before
I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
So Stan, you brought up a good point because I used to write code years ago, and I was terrible. And I don't know if any of you guys have wrote code, but when I can't even think of the word, when you have one mistake and you got to go through a million lines of code,
a debug.
Oh my God, it drove me insane. And I think that's where AI could maybe help, maybe find the problem right off the rip for you. But yeah, I think professionally, like I've been writing a few articles for Darren. I would never use that for that because that's something I want to feel it's mine. You know, I don't feel like, even though AI supposedly, you know, like the art is all 100%. But I think like a reference letter or code, not necessarily writing code for me, but like helping me with it. I think that's something that I could see beneficial. I like the art stuff because it's like, it just gives me ideas. And my daughter being a really art freak, she loves to see generated pictures. She'll sit there and she'll just type in all kinds of, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I will say this much, and there was something that I did with Gemini that actually kind of threw me off a little bit. So I, as you know, I write reviews for One Cut Reviews. So I was like, let me see if I can take an existing review I've written, which I did of, I think it was like the first generation Pixel Watch. And I asked it, I gave it the website link, and I said, I want you to rewrite this in a more professional tone. And I just copied and pasted my review into Gemini. What surprised me and scared me a little bit.
It's more professional than you?
No, well, there's that. Yeah, well, obviously. So I think, I don't remember if I'd asked it to be more professional or if it was one of those things where it was, I can't remember what the phrasing I used, but it started the review with, "Hey, it's your boy D." Right? Now, that shocked me. That shocked me because for two reasons. Number one, that's not very professional. But two, my name's Darren. And nowhere in the review did it say that my name was Darren, but yet it somehow had sourced my name from, I guess, somewhere on the website, maybe the About Me section or the About Us section there, and had brought that in as a tone or a voice, if you will. And included that in the intro, the rewrite of the intro, which I was like, how did it know? Like, how did it know that Darren was my name? How did it know that, hey, it's your boy D? Yes, I'm now referred to as D. That's correct. Yes. So
you ever watched The American Office?
I do, yes.
Sam, have you ever watched The Office, the American version?
No.
Do you remember when Andy and they're fighting over Angela and he's like, "Oh, D."
Yes.
That's the first thing I thought when you said D.
Yeah, I would think the reason why you provided it the website, so it was able to source all the website and all that data.
Yeah, just find my name.
It can get the banner and find out who and that kind of thing. I think if you had just put the text of it into like a text editor, I don't think it would have come up with that. I don't think it would have been able to source it. Maybe it would have. I could have done a search to see that the article's posted on the internet and they can see the exact word structure and then kind of cross-reference it. Yeah,
hearing my tone is what Sam.
So
I think
I'm looking in the chat here and I see something interesting here. It says devs from ChatGPT are trying to get paid, and you got to pay to get better results, right?
Yes. Correct.
So what do you guys think of this $20 a month for the advanced version of Gemini? But it also includes the Google One, 2 terabytes of storage, and VPN and all that stuff. Is it worth $20 a month? Or are either of you guys paying or have extra storage through Google?
I do. So I pay for the
200 gigabyte.
Yes, I think so.
So it's like $100 a year, or
$100 a year.
No, it's not. Is it $30 a year? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember what it's. The lower one of the lower tiers.
Okay,
but that might actually genuinely be interesting because I'm curious to see how much better it actually is than the standard version.
Me too.
Now I almost wonder, and I almost feel as though they're holding back the good AI and giving us the watered down version, because if people knew how good the good AI was, they might actually be
there's
more
two
afraid.
Reasons. Well, actually 3 reasons. One reason, they want to make money, so they're going to charge a monthly fee like we said with what Google One. Then they get you in with the storage, locks you in more, kind of like Apple does. 2, I mean, that's how technology works. You know, every year a new phone comes out. Every year a new chip comes out. They probably can make these chips quicker but I don't know what it's called. Like in the cell phone industry, it's called churn. They methodically do this, and that's how they keep bringing in profits.
Yes.
Am I okay with it? Probably not, because we have a subscription society. And everything is a damn subscription nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, if I was already paying for that, and it's included, and I think they give it to you for free. Like if you switched,
yes,
it doesn't make any sense. But I would like to try it, but I don't know if I want to jump to $20 a month for storage. I mean, 2 terabytes is a lot. I have 200 gigabyte. And I'm only using 20% of it. So
yeah. I don't know. I think, Sam, are you paying for anything? But I think you said you have OneDrive through work. I think I remember you.
Oh, okay.
No,
that's
not
Microsoft,
through,
right?
Not through work, but I guess after you buy, successive years of Windows phones back in the day, so I have 2 terabytes of OneDrive storage, and I use that. So.
Right.
Now, what's the cost of 2 terabytes with Microsoft? I'm sorry, OneDrive.
I don't even know. It's because I've been paying for it for so long, and then of course I had some free stuff, and then I think it's because I get with Office 365, and I have that. I think it's like $14.95, and then at one point I had like Microsoft Xbox because I was using an Xbox, so I had
$14.95 a month for Office 365 and 2 terabytes. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it charges me more. Honestly, it's been buried so long. I've been paying for that subscription for OneDrive for so long. I don't even know what it is. I know it's nothing that I see on my billing, and I go, "Holy cow!" It's like $35.50 a month or whatever. So
yeah,
but
and you guys have those things where you might be grandfathered into an older plan, and new plans get more expensive.
And maybe I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things where I thought about maybe switching over to Google One or something like that. But I think if you're looking into getting into cloud storage and you were looking for this, I think this is a pretty good deal. You get the advanced. I mean, it's not a little bad bundle for $20 a month. I don't think it's outrageous at all.
So let me. I mean, again, I'm new to this Bard and Gemini stuff because we're Canadians.
You're a noob.
Canadians. I'm convinced it's because I'm Australian and Canadian. But anyway, so looking at this article that was posted on Engadget, it's my understanding that this is going to be replacing the Google Assistant as the default assistant on the device. Is that the plan, or is that what's currently happening?
That's what they say. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It's just going to make the assistant better. It's already great, but it's going to make it better. I mean, the assistant's more like, hey, do this, and it does it. But I think with Gemini and this advanced AI, or generative AI is what they call it, it's going to be more personal, and that's where people get scared. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with Microsoft, Google, and whoever else wants to get in this consortium and kind of rein in AI to make sure it doesn't turn to Skynet or replace too many jobs. I mean, it's going to replace jobs no matter what, just like robots did. I mean, in the automotive industry, it's going to replace something at some point. But to limit the, I guess, detriment of AI, it's nice. Whereas I don't know if ChatGPT is part of that. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, my question might be, because I know you ordered the R1. Is the R1 going to be better than Gemini?
No.
Or is good? No, I don't think so either.
Here's why I say that. And I'm not saying that you talk about the rabbit.
Yeah.
I think that's based on ChatGPT, maybe not. Maybe a bunch of things. Maybe they're custom software. But, Google's got, it's like Apple. They're a $1 trillion company. If you get good enough, they're going to buy you. Google's got the resources to make AI that advanced. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'd like to see competition. And if you, and like the article I just wrote for you, I know no one's read it yet. But, like Apple, they are huge in the U.S. And Sam's brought this up many times. 80% of people are going to buy iPhones. And that's great for Apple, but it's bad for the consumer because at the end of the day, it's like we have no competition. So where I want Google to excel because they're good at it, I also want competition to keep that ball rolling and moving forward. So
yeah, and I mean, look, again, I'm new to this stuff too, and I'm just looking at the stuff that was written here about Gemini, and I mean, I think the Google Assistant's been around since the first generation of the Google Pixel. I think is
maybe
accurate, right? Somewhere around there. So, I mean, I think of it. I guess the best way to think of it would be taking the best of the Google Assistant and having a baby with ChatGPT or one of those other AI, massive things, and just kind of seeing what pumps out. But I think
and then going on Jerry Springer and seeing who's the real dad of the baby.
Exactly, that's exactly right. That's what I was thinking. But I mean, I think I think you hit the nail on the head. I think if anyone's going to do it right, I think Google would probably has the heads up here. It ain't going to be Apple and Siri. That's for fucking
well,
sure. Maybe
Apple
not
is
yet.
supposedly working on AI stuff, but they could come out swinging and be advanced. But I think Google's got a pretty good lead. And
Yes.
I hope Apple does bring out some AI features. You know why? It'll push the industry forward.
It
That's all it's
will,
gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget Microsoft has Copilot, right? So we're talking,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And Copilot's nothing to joke about. It's pretty good too.
Yeah, so
Copilot's actually, I've tried Copilot a couple of times, and a different kind of flavor of AI. I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels a bit more polished, perhaps. Coming from like Microsoft, that may be a bit of a contradiction because that not everything they release is polished. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think if you have to play with all of these to kind of get a sense of the differences, because there are some minor nuances and things of that nature that kind of make everyone a little bit better. What I found interesting though for us is we can access Gemini through the website, but we can't access it through the app.
So you can't download the app, or you have the app doesn't work.
So the app, I APK mirrored it.
Okay, so here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. You need to download, get developer options on your Android device. Go to the Google Play Store and get GPS spoof.
Okay.
And go into, I forget what the setting is, but you can actually spoof your location to the US. And you could use it right away.
All right, perfect. Okay. Well, no, not
that I've done this before for any reason. I'm just guessing that's how it works.
Of course not. Yeah. But no, like I found it bizarre that they released it to Canada today with the website, but not the app. The app is still not on the Play Store.
I'm going to assume it's going to be a slow rollout. In the US, it's probably their biggest market right now. So they're going to try it with us. And then as it gets more polished, Canada, then wherever else, the rest of the country, except for China, because they don't use Google services. But
I know, right? Like, what do we know? I just clicked everything away. Perfect. Sorry, 1 second. I don't even know what I was just playing and managed to completely, remove a tab from my thing there. But anyway, speaking of interesting things that have happened here in the world of,
oh God! Please tell me
you're going to talk.
Yeah, I'll
I'll let you tag it. I'm that
so
technical
I'll tag
problem
in. So Twitter, I'm sorry, damn it, X, formerly known as Twitter. You're welcome, Sam.
Well, it's okay. We call it Twix over at
Twix.
Ooh, I like that.
I like
Twix.
that.
Okay.
I mean, it's like there's a candy.
But which
bar,
side, left or right?
Twix. It doesn't matter. It's still both sides kind of stink either way, so it doesn't really matter.
So Twitter kind of exploded. So MKBHD did his Waveform podcast and said, I'm busy with the Vision Pro. I'm busy with the iPhone, blah, blah, blah. I don't have time to review this. And he said this, the OnePlus 12, okay? And the social media exploded, like they always do. My first reaction to that video was, okay, he's a busy guy. Who gives a shit? There's going to be a million reviews of it. If he can't do it, I don't care. But the world was melting down because MKBHD did not put his 2 cents in on this phone. And generally reviews have been positive. It's a hell of a price. It's a hell of a phone, whatever. I'm enjoying it too. So today, I think it was today, there was a video uploaded. There you go. Better than you think. So he actually posted a video. And you know what's funny? It's not even that good of a review. It's pretty much saying what everyone's saying. Everyone says it's not a flagship killer anymore because it's too expensive. Well, when the first OnePlus came out, flagship phones were $600, and it was what, $399, $299. It's $799, but some place selling it for $699, and you get $100 off, whatever. $699, $800 for a flagship phone is a flagship killer to me.
Yes.
So I don't know what Sam, I know you probably don't watch MKBHD, or maybe you don't care, but what do you is social media
it's lost
that annoying that they have to have a review from one guy to make their decision, or I don't know. I'm so confused by this whole situation.
I think that he's gotten so big now that people hang on every word, whether or not to buy or to purchase or to make a decision about a device. I don't know. Like for me, like I got the device early from OnePlus. I actually got myself one been using it for a while now. I also had the S24 Ultra, and I've been tweeting a little bit about it the last couple of days because I was generally disappointed with the S24 Ultra. And I know I pissed a lot of people off, and I said that it's uncomfortable to hold and that the cameras weren't great. And some people came after me for that. But my main sim is in the OnePlus 12.
Same here.
I enjoy the device. Yeah.
My main sim is in the OnePlus 12 because I explained this off camera. Google Fi screwed me over for about 12 hours. I had no choice.
Well, OnePlus 12 came to the rescue.
It did. So, but the question is, and I asked Sam, and you said the same thing. It's like, I like MKBHD. I think his videos are awesome. He's got great production value. He's a smart dude. He's been around for a long time, and he's got a life. He does Ultimate Frisbee, whatever. Yeah. But and Sam, maybe you don't want to comment on it. I don't understand our fascination with having to have like Mr. Who's the Boss or MKBHD or Unbox Therapy. Why does the social media have to blow up on something like that? Maybe it's too big of a question. I don't know.
So first of all, I am a fan of Marquez. I think he's a really good. I mean, I think his content's great, actually. But I guess the outrage against Marquez is kind of different because I think personally, if you ask him, he would probably want to review the device. But remember, Marquez Brownlee isn't MKBHD per se, right? So it's a business, right? He has to make a business decision. He's only got so much bandwidth. What I would have suggested for Marquez is to maybe to basically, if you don't have time to review the phone, that's cool. But why don't you kick that off to like David Amell or somebody else, right? Kick it down the, maybe see if he can do it, and talk about it in a waveform or whatever. I guess I didn't like the approach of. Again,
it was very dismissive.
I just don't think that he has to really say anything. He can make a business decision, and I think as a customer of Marquez's channel, right, as I am, I can make a comment about it from a business. I can say that I think from a business standpoint, that's a kind of a bad look, right? It's not fair. However, the outrage part of it is just, that's kind of endemic to just the society in general now, right? Nobody can just, and so I don't think really, definitely MKBHD is not the cause of that, right? I think anybody is outraged about whatever. If he doesn't review it, that's fine. I guess what my question is if he doesn't review the device, I don't think that really moves the needle plus or minus OnePlus, right?
No.
I get you there. No pun intended.
Yeah. Yes. I just don't think it moves the needle. I think people who are maybe fans of his channel, they kind of realize they really aren't there to really kind of like, if Marquez says it's a good phone, I'm going to buy it. I don't think they haven't bought it yet and then watch his content. I think they have already either bought the phone and watch it because they enjoy watching what he says about it, and or it's not on their radar. So maybe they watch it just because. I watch a lot of Flossy Cardinals content, and he reviews a lot of phones that I'm not buying, but I enjoy his presentation. I kind of like how he does it. And so I think that's what it is. And I really think that my question is, my statement is real simple.
Doesn't matter.
None of this stuff is really that impactful that at the end of the day, right? Phones all do the same thing. And even if you buy a budget phone, it does the same thing. If you're getting triggered off of the fact and you're like sitting in comments and then you're having these back and forths with people, I think you really need to evaluate your personal priorities and kind of figure out what's going on. I don't know. I don't have enough bandwidth to get worked up about it because it's not groundbreaking. It's really not, it's not life threatening. Yeah. Do I think he should have reviewed it? Maybe, but again, I don't really, I guess I don't care that much.
That leads me to the next question before Darren jumps in, because I know he's going to jump in.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, go
I made a quick video of the OnePlus on my channel. It's similar to almost mine. And the biggest selling point for me in the OnePlus 12 was the price. Okay. Yeah. And OnePlus has done a pretty good job of upgrading it. And I know in talking with Sam in the past, you're kind of a OnePlus fan.
Yeah, so for sure. I've had them all. Yeah, I've had them all the way since CyanogenMod on OnePlus 1 and the 3T and the 5 and the 6 and 6T.
So you don't have the 12, right?
Yeah, I actually had the 10 Pro and I sold it just because I wasn't really using it that often. And honestly, the reason why is I've kind of switched to non-slab phones. Right, I would get a OnePlus Open. Okay. I'm more in the open.
Well, here's my question to you. Yeah. So you don't own the current OnePlus, but what are your thoughts? Do you think it's just an iterative update, or do you think it's made of? Now, before you answer, I know OnePlus is not going to make a market share without carrier deals. without marketing. We already know that. They're never going to make it big without carrier deals and marketing. But that aside, what do you think of this device? And do you think it's a good move for OnePlus? You think it's a positive device? You think it's like, okay, it's just OnePlus doing the same thing?
Yeah, I think after the 9 and the 10, I think, everybody, the comment was, well, OnePlus lost its way, and we're creating phones that are starting to leak into that, higher space. I do like the pivot, right? I do like the fact that they've decided to kind of move more into the, I guess, affordable flagship. I think flagship killer is kind of a stupid moniker. I think we need I think we need to ditch it because that doesn't mean anything anymore. It meant something back in the OnePlus days. Which, by the way, if people, I guess they have short memories, OnePlus used to be invite only, right? So
yes,
and that was another story. And and again, call it what you will. But the term flat, and I thought that back in the day, the OnePlus One, right, the original one running a CyanogenMod build was awesome, especially for people who were like me, who were into that kind of lineage, CyanogenMod, tweak, Android Revolution on the HTC, models, right? We're into
rooting and all that stuff,
roots like and ROMs and custom ROMs and flash and radios and that kind of thing. When you're gonna get, totally dorking out on your phone, right? Obviously now again that we've moved on from that, and I just think the flagship killer. I think people need to retire that phrase because it doesn't land anymore. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that CEO is gone. So he moved on, and I think
and even if it was the same CEO, I just think at the end of the day, at $799, what is a flagship killer? Again, the term doesn't mean anything to anybody who's purchasing the phone.
Correct.
I think it's a competitive phone, but if you're a person who's really looking at a OnePlus 12, you might be looking at a S24 vanilla or an S24 Plus. I don't like the fact that the phone is being compared directly to the Ultra. I don't think that's a proper comparison. The OnePlus 12, really, its proper comparison probably is the S24 Plus. Yeah, is probably more appropriate, right, for the camera system and everything else. Because remember, it's got a larger battery, it's got an S Pen, and yada yada yada, and all the zooms. And again, OnePlus 12 isn't bringing that kind of hardware level, really. So at that point, now you're comparing a $799 phone to a $899 or $999 phone, or a Pixel 8 Pro. Right now, you're in a different conversation. I think it doesn't make OnePlus that compelling. But again, are we still shopping price point? I don't think we should be at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and here's what I'll say:
if you're buying it straight up, sure, but most Americans aren't doing that. And so I would say that makes it a little bit of a different proposition and a different conversation.
Well, and the OnePlus, the S24 Ultra is going to get more sales because of carrier deals. It's $1,300, $1,200 brand new. And yes, if you were thinking about cost straight out, I would definitely go for the OnePlus first because obviously it's cheaper and it offers most of what the S24 Ultra will. But with carrier deals, $30 a month, $40 a month, people are going to jump on that in a heartbeat. And that's where OnePlus.
Yeah, and also I think people really, and honestly, and I've seen this more often. I really think people really are digging One UI and One UI 6.1.
Oh yeah.
And so I guess it's what it is. Same thing with the people who are using iOS. I think if you have a device and you like the device and you have a good track record, you've owned a Note 9 or an S20, right? And you're in that Samsung ballpark. Here comes the S24. The OnePlus isn't even on your radar for that. And not because it's not in a carrier store. It's just because even if you were handed the OnePlus, people are going to look at it and go, yeah, that's great. But I'm unfamiliar with this software. I'm unfamiliar with this brand. Yeah. And I know it sounds kind of, I don't mean to bring this angle into it because it's not really appropriate. But also it's a brand that's in China. And right now that can have a negative connotation for your standard purchaser in North America. It just does. I mean, especially when you tell people it's like, though, this is their parent company is a company in China. I think a lot of people, whether it's right or wrong, it's kind of silly, but I think some people may balk at that regardless of the price, especially if the price is sub, because they're going to equate that with the price is lower because it's a Chinese brand because it's cheaper. Right. Not necessarily. And again, does that make any sense? No. Is it valid? Probably not. Is it a good argument to stand on? I doubt it. But, people make tech decisions, as you can say, and they also stand on tech choices, not based on objective fact. It's a lot of subjective personality. Correct. And so when you're in that neighborhood, all bets are off when it comes to an argument.
that leads me to the next topic.
Yes.
And Darren has got a lot to say about this. So we talked about the S23 Ultra and the Oppo, the OnePlus 12. So like DxO, not everyone puts a lot of weight into it. And Sam, you said subjectiveness. So when I talk about a camera on a phone, everybody's going to want their certain color temperature and whatever. The biggest thing for me in a camera is not the color temperature, it's more like motion. Can it capture motion? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I want to say maybe 6 months, a year ago, Phone Arena had said they're going to start doing their own camera rankings, similar to DxO. And this was posted today. And Darren has recently parted ways with the S24, claiming, now I am not claiming this. Darren has claimed that the S24 Ultra was not, I'm not saying it was terrible. He's going to say subpar and noisy. I will 99.9% disagree with that, and that's okay. Is it the best camera score? No. But like the S23 Ultra that won most of people's phone of the year, I think this phone is on, at least right now, it's early, is on par to get, at least in the US, phone of the year again this year. Just because they've teamed up with Google, they got all the smarts, they got all the camera, you know, the Swiss Army knife of cameras. But Darren, when you see this article, which is very well written by Phone Arena, check it out. I'm not going to obviously scroll through it so you can read it, but check it out. What do you think of this, Darren? I mean,
first of all, the S23 Ultra didn't win Phone of the Year in anyone's books last year.
The S23 Ultra?
It did not win a single.
I gave it the Ultra. I gave it the Phone of the Year.
You did. But that, and again,
MKBHD gave it, I think, what, Android Phone of the Year, didn't he?
No, it was our best big phone, I believe.
Hey, he still won an award.
Okay, but not Phone of the Year.
Okay.
So the problem I had with the cameras with the S24 Ultra. Now I have a couple of problems with the S24 Ultra, and this is nothing new. So I don't want anyone to jump down my fucking throat when you listening to this back.
Please jump down his throat.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Make sure you close your basement door so mum can't hear you. But I had issues with the S23 Ultra last year, and I had the same issues with this S24 this year. Now the camera is a part of it. I'll come back to that in a second. So first of all, I'm just not a fan of the boxy form factor. It's not comfortable in my hand. And a few people have mentioned that the corner edges dig into your palm, and after a long holding that for some time, and it's a hefty device, it's just not for me. I prefer a curved corner, like it fits in, it's, cups the palm better, whatever you want to fucking call it. So I'm not a fan of the form factor. Now, I like cameras. I'm a big camera guy. That's part of what I do. I didn't find them better, but I didn't find them worse. They were just very similar equation to last year. Now, arguably, there's going to be someone out there who says, no, but it's the Snapdragon Gen 3's processing has made every photo amazing. Maybe. But for me, I still had issues with motion blur. As soon as something fucking moved, that thing would not capture the image. The night photos were insanely noisy. Like,
so when I took night photos, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, there's that. Yeah, I know. Well, so the night photos disappointed me, and I thought last year I had a problem with the night photography, even though they had this fucking nightography shit. I still had issues with that. And comparably, and I know I posted photos we have a group chat here, and I posted photos between the Oppo Find N3 and the S24 Ultra. And 9 times out of 10, the Oppo Find N3 was a better, cleaner, brighter image. And I don't know. I know people are waiting for this magical update. Oh, wait until, they've all been saying, wait until it gets updated before you review it. I don't hear anything.
Okay. So my biggest issue with the S24 Ultra is the noise, I don't really notice that much. I'm not a pixel peeper, but I will say motion at this point in the game,
yes.
Apple and Google have figured it out.
Yes.
As big as Samsung is in the Android space, they're the biggest Android manufacturer of smartphones. I mean, at least here in the US. Why can't they figure it out?
Exactly.
Now, with that said, they have the Swiss Army of camera, and that's why most people say it's the best.
Absolutely.
The best zoom, arguably the best zoom.
No.
But it's color science. And see, and that's what I'm saying. With Android, we have a lot of options. So you can pick the Honor, and I can pick the Samsung, and Sam can pick, OnePlus. What I'm just throwing names out there.
The Duo camera.
Well, I'm just saying, well, yeah, whatever. But
proper potato camera.
Yeah.
But it's subjective, and that's what drives me insane. It's like, iPhone's the best. Well, yeah, if you want that warm yellowish color, which they've always had, it's fine. But when you put like MKBHD, he puts 100 camera phones all next to each other, you're going to see a difference. But if you have one phone in your hand, you're not going to notice that. And the S24 generally by itself takes decent photos.
Oh, absolutely.
Do I prefer the Pixel? Yes, but that was 2023. For 2024 so far, I prefer the S24 over the OnePlus
12.
Just because it's got more versatility. Quality-wise, I think the OnePlus is more natural, which I like. The Hasselblad is pretty much, for me, is more of a natural color science.
Yes.
And obviously Samsung is definitely saturated, but that's what people want. That's what they're going to...
I don't even think... I never had any issues with saturation. Like, the photos came out fine. To me, I don't know. I just feel... I feel like if you're buying, like here in Canada, that phone is $1,900. Like we're talking foldable phone category. Yeah. If you're paying $1,900 and my Oppo Find N3, which costs just as much, is taking good, if not better photos, why am I even interested in the S24 Ultra? So
I guess it's region too, because like you said, it costs more for you than us. And I'm not saying it's cheap in the US either. But it's not $1,900.
And I mean, look, we have trade-in deals, and I know that somebody's going to be like, "Oh, just trade in your Pixel or trade in a thing." I don't want to trade in the Pixel. I still argue that the Pixel is the better device. It is a better phone. It is a better camera. Yes, it hasn't got a Snapdragon. Yes, it's not that great on like efficiency and battery and cooling, and it's essentially like buying, your grandma's old beaten down Ford that she drove for 30 years. And then
why'd you point out Ford for?
I don't know. Just kind of making a point.
You mean Buick?
Anyway, Buick.
Just kidding.
Buick.
I'm totally kidding.
Yes. Your Pixel 8 Pro is the Buick of smartphones. But my point is that for me, all of these comparisons for the camera, it's not, no one's coming out and saying, besides Phone Arena, that's the first one I've seen where they've gone, hallelujah, it's the best camera ever. It's the best camera that we've seen.
Did you read it? They even said it's great, but motion's terrible.
Yes. So I'll give you some context here. And look, DxO, I'm not saying, first of all, DxO, they're not great. But on their list, the S24 Ultra is 18th.
Yeah.
18th. And this one's one?
What's number one?
The Find X7 Ultra, I believe.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
We can't get it here.
Yeah. So look, it is what it is. People are going to love it. People are going to hate it. I did like the flat screen. I did like the brightness. I loved the S Pen.
See, I'm a curved screen guy. I love the OnePlus 12. I love the
feel
screen.
in the hand.
Everyone's like, "Oh, I hate curved screens because of fake touches." I never have those issues.
No,
ever.
me either. I never had them either. And like the Magic 5 Pro, it was a quad curve screen, so it's fucking curved everywhere. So, and I loved that phone. That phone slid it out of a pocket so easily, not in a bad way. I meant like for accessibility. Right. So Sam, I know you're in the folding phone. You're the folding phone fan here. So my question would be, do you think Samsung, because I'm just going to pick on the form factor for a second, the S24 Plus, they only make an S24 and an S24 Plus Ultra in an S24 Plus body. Is that the home run?
For me, I think the home run of the series, it really depends on what you're, again, what are you buying the phone for? Are you, if you're a camera centric person, then that makes that purchase decision a little differently, right?
Yeah.
I would say if for price point and what you get, personally, when I had the S20, I think it was the S22 series phones, I went for the S22. I thought that was the bang for the buck. I think I got that. But again, you're coming from somebody like me who isn't really into, like, I don't know about you. Maybe maybe because my daughters are grown and they're older and they're out of the house and they're 22, but I just don't take a lot of photographs. It's just not a thing for me.
I get that.
I mean, and if I do, I really honestly, if I took a picture, I mean, I thought it was funny, and this is just a quick segue back to MKBHD. I like when he does the blind camera comparisons because it's awesome. Everybody does these things like, oh, who would have thought that the Zenfone 9 would have been the best shot? Yeah. But I mean, everybody picked it. And so really, again, it's photography, at least that I've been understanding. I'm not a professional photographer by any stretch. It's subjective, right? Some people like natural, some like saturated, some people like blur, some people don't, and it's like, I think the OnePlus 12 is a good phone for taking pictures. I don't think in 2024, I think we have gotten so to the point where we have to find some kind of thing to dump on these phones about. We are getting extraordinarily nitpicky about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are.
Especially if you would have looked at like, dude, imagine the cameras on like the HTC One M8. They weren't great, right? Yeah. And that's not a super old phone. I mean, I guess in phone specs, it's 7 years old.
It's 1,000 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just remember, and it's like, at some point we're going to get with the cameras, we're going to get to where we were with processing power, right? It was overclocked. It was all, it was megahertz and all that kind of stuff. And then you realize it was all megapixels, right? As opposed to
megapixels,
right? That's a tribute to Juan anyway. But I mean, at some point, I think we're going to cap out at unless there's a transformative change in camera hardware and a complete rewrite of camera software and processing capability. I think we're kind of at the apex of what the cameras can really do.
Yeah,
and
exactly. What else can
you're fighting about style? And if you need
a
fast action kind of thing, then you go for a Pixel, or if you really want to be niche, you can go for a Sony Xperia, right? If you really want to be that guy, and then you're in a different kind of ball game, right? But to offer an Oppo phone to an American consumer is like, they're making, and they're not going to have access to it.
I get it.
And then that's the problem is like, it's the best camera that you can't buy. Like, who cares about it, right? I mean, it's a hard conversation, and it's hard to kind of work through.
I will say this much, Sam, and I completely agree with what you're saying. When Tuna sent that article to me, I had the perfect reaction. I actually took a snapshot of my reaction. Here it is. I was in shock.
I'm totally rocking that shirt, by the way. I guarantee you, I can see Tim walking around with that shirt pretty much all the time. I mean that, and Mobb Deep. I can see a shirt like that, and Eminem.
Can I just point out something funny here? And when I pulled this image up earlier on, I actually thought that on his shelf there, that was a Google Nest. And I had I was like right there. I don't know if you can see. I'll point it with the cursor here. Give me 1 second if I can. I thought this right here was a Google Nest, and I was like, no way
that's ever going to happen on an Apple.
I know.
And here's the other thing:
that was funny.
Does anybody even care? I mean, I know you guys said you're probably not going to watch. I usually don't watch Super Bowl unless my team's in it. But most people watch it. Most consumers who aren't football fans watch it for the commercials. And I'm sure you've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger State Farm prequel commercial. But who the hell wants to? Let me rephrase that. Does anybody care about Usher anymore? I mean, does not impress me. I do not want to watch the halftime show. I'm not an Usher fan.
Can I tell you a thing that pisses me off more than anything in the entire world? So I love the Super Bowl commercials. I do.
Oh I fucking. You're gonna say I love Usher. I thought you were gonna say I love Usher.
Here in Canada,
okay,
and I'm not making this up, and all of our Canadian listeners can attest to this. They live stream the American broadcast of the Super Bowl,
sure,
in all its glory, all of the channels you're on, and when you would normally break to see these Super Bowl commercials, they superimpose Canadian commercials over the top of the Super Bowl commercials that I fucking tune in to watch.
No.
And they've done it every single year that I've lived in Canada, which is going on 16 odd years right now, and frustrates me immensely. So I'm literally the guy who goes the next morning on YouTube and looks at the Super Bowl commercial compilations, because I actually do care about seeing the commercials, because I like the fact that they pump so much money into them, and I'm curious and fascinated by them.
But let's not show the commercial, because
we will get hit.
We'll
get flagged.
But
before you get flagged,
my impression of the commercial is you got Ludacris. He's with a friend. You're talking to Usher on a FaceTime. Tim Cook on a FaceTime call. Of course, it has to be FaceTime, not Google Meet. No. And that's his face. He looks like Ludacris is an actor, obviously now, Fast and Furious. So he's like real laid back, and it's a really good commercial as far as commercials go. But as soon as they show Tim Cook, it's like, why is he so stiff? Like, it's like he's scared. It's weird. It's like he's does it really matter? No, because Tim Cook is Tim Cook. That's how he is. I mean, you've seen the pictures of him with the Vision Pro with a sad face. Like I'm disappointed. This isn't what I wanted.
Yes.
It's just really cringy. It's very cringeworthy, and it's so cringe. I'm gonna guess this is gonna lead to a bigger commercial at the Super Bowl. So you gotta watch it.
Yes.
And Apple, being the magicians they are at marketing, I'm sure the Vision Pro or the iPhone 15 Pro will have a new commercial, and it'll be like they invented the world again.
Yes, 100%. Oh, I think they're going to absolutely have a massive Vision Pro commercial. I think they're going to push it hard. I really do. I think that it's been a successful launch, and I think they're going to try to push as many units as they can. But you're right. Like I said to you before we went on air, I don't know who in Apple's marketing team decided that they were going to push Tim Cook as the people of the youth. Like, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but every single thing they did last year and this year so far has been what I'd like to call youthifying Tim Cook.
But why? So they don't need to.
I don't know. So like you think about the joking Mother Nature commercial that they had in their iPhone release.
Yep.
You look at this where he's literally talking to people half his age, maybe a quarter, two-thirds,
right.
I don't know, whatever. And they're pushing this coolness.
Where's Usher? Better find him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? And this is going to sound horrible. It's when your grandparents decide to come on vacation with you, and granddad pulls out his one-piece bathing suit and says, fuck it, I'm going to walk down the beach. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, it's got to the point now where they're trying to push at Tim Cook as being this voice of the youth of today at Apple, the eco-friendly, the grandfather, cool dad, cool uncle figure, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't know if it works. It
reminds me of, I know you're probably not big TikTok people or YouTube shorts, but there's a trend where they have like dads doing teenage lingo.
Yes.
And it's very, and the kids are like, oh my God, dad. When any dad can relate to this, or kid when they were a kid, it's like, really, you're trying with your New Balances on and you're pulled up, it's just, and that's what it reminds me. But you know what? I think that's what they're going for. I don't think they're trying to cheat us, and they're $1 trillion company, and it's working.
It is. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, it was funny this week because we had both this horrible train wreck of a commercial, but we also got something that was a little bit interesting, and that was one of 3 leaks this week. So I'm going to talk about all 3. Let's start with the Apple leak. So I don't know if you saw this, but this is the proposed design for the iPhone 16.
I don't care.
Which now I'm going to just put this out there. The iPhone XS and XS Max and X and that line of series, that was my favorite design of iPhone, still to this day. And in the iPhone 16 leaks that have just come out, they're saying that the regular base model iPhone 16, ironically, probably still at 60 hertz, but that's a separate side issue, is going to be going back to that classic like stacked camera design, very similar to the iPhone X and XS.
So can we say they're copying nothing again? The nothing
Basically,
phone?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't that one in white there look like a nothing phone? If you took
It
away
does.
the Apple
If you took
logo?
that could be the 2A. That was
Wow.
actually a false leak. I know.
Yeah, jumped a gun.
Put some glyphs on the back, and then you're good.
Yeah.
Get a case with some lights on it.
You know, and here's the thing. Do me a favor. Ask any iPhone person that you know. Go find anybody who may be interested in getting a 16 or owns a 15 or has a 14. Ask them if they've ever heard of a nothing phone.
Yeah, they'd have no idea.
Nope.
Exactly.
So I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's funny you say that because I was at work today and I have like 8 phones on my desk, and everyone comes in and they're like, "Man, why do you got so many phones?" I'm like, "I just like phones." And everyone always comes in, they immediately see, "Oh, you got the 15 Pro Max? How do you like it?" I said, what do you have? I have the 13. I go, don't upgrade. It's too similar. Well, you don't like Apple? I'm like, I didn't say I didn't like Apple. I'm just saying it's not much of an upgrade. I said, but these phones are more interesting. And they're like, what's that? That's a folding phone? I go, yeah, Pixel Fold. What the hell's a Pixel Fold? And that's the US for you. That's simply the US.
I think they look fine. I mean,
they look great.
It
yeah.
looks fine. Well, I mean, and here's the thing: you really can't rock on iPhone because Samsung really hasn't made a change in their.
But that's what they should do. You find an identity like the Pixel, like OnePlus has an identity now too, and they all just kind of stick with it. That's
I'm not into that, and I don't think that's anything.
That's not real. That's not real. No way.
I'm sorry, that's just silly.
So
that back camera is silly.
It reminds me of the Duo 2. Like they're trying too hard.
Well, it'd be funny is if it actually touched the back, which it never will. Maybe you have a problem there, but the visors become iconic. Why would they change it on the Fold 2?
Well,
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
So for those of you who are looking at this image and wondering what the hell we're talking about, this was leaked earlier in the week, an alleged prototype of the Pixel Fold 2. Looking a lot like the OnePlus Open, like the OnePlus Open. Like rounded corners, okay, that has a visor. Now, it looks like a quad camera setup.
That's not
in the
true.
back there.
That's
Well,
fake.
look, I mean, I don't know. This is from Android Authority, which is a pretty reputable, publication for the most part.
But didn't they push the 2A as well?
Yes, and I will get to that in a second.
Exactly.
We're getting to that, Tuna. Thanks for ruining the surprise. But
I'm sorry. I mean, 2A is legit.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
It looks like an Oppo device, and I think that's what this is. I think this looks more of an Oppo kind of brand,
like
Oppo, than it is. And again, I cannot imagine a scenario where Google is going to ditch the visor. I think that's an iconic look, and I just don't know why they would come to this stacked camera
unless the
like
prototype. Maybe
again, it's a hardware prototype, so who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, also we're talking about something that's 10 months away.
Correct.
I mean, it's like it's February. This thing's going to launch maybe in October, possibly in line with the 9, right? Because they're going to talk about the G4, right? The Sensor G4. So I don't care about any of this. Like at this point, it's clearly know what the form factor is going to be. They may make some small adjustments to it, and who knows? But I just can't imagine they're going to this,
right?
And if they do, I mean, have you ever not bought a phone because the camera bump looks ugly?
No,
I don't think that. I don't think you do. Like I said, I think that's kind of like baked into the cake, right? I think they're just gonna. I don't think this is going to be the final design, and it's a design prototype. There were leaks about the Duo 3, right, or the Duo 2, and what they were going to do with that, and they all kind of varied a little bit. And this is early. I mean, it's who knows.
Well,
I'm not saying it's fake, but
hey, it's pushing the narrative and keeping Google in the picture, which is good. At least for tech people, not the average consumer.
I mean, I think so. It's good to talk about. It's always fun.
Correct.
Well, the only other thing that I just wanted to mention about the Pixel Fold 2 here is that they mentioned that it might skip the Tensor 4, is what they were mentioning. So they said, a story that came out earlier this week is that they are looking for, or they're hoping for rather, they're going to go to the next generation processor.
No, I thought they were going to skip the 3 and go to the 4.
They're going to skip the 3.
Oh, sorry. I got that wrong. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, sorry. They're going to skip the 3 and go to the 4.
Yeah, so like we got the Pixel Fold with the 2 instead of the 3. Yeah. And now they're actually going to play it smart and keep the 9 and the Fold on the same page.
Correct.
The problem with that, again, I don't want to get in this SoC thing because it's really about usage, but the Tensor G4 is not going to be a powerhouse. It's still going to be based on Samsung. Until the 5, they're saying it's going to be their actually own custom node with, whatever. either way, it's going to be a big upgrade. You can't not upgrade from the from the Tensor 2.
Well,
so.
Look, I mean, when I saw that leak of the Pixel Fold 2 design, I was actually in the middle of a Zoom call, believe it or not. And when it popped up I had screen side by side, and as it popped up, I accidentally hit the snap photo feature on Zoom calls, which it takes a screenshot of your face, your camera. And this is when I saw the Pixel Fold 2 design, this is the image that I managed to capture. Jesus. And that was my reaction. I was like, I'm not sure what to make of that. But
that's
anyway, last but not least,
the running gag.
The running gag, yes.
That is. I haven't seen this picture of the 2A. That is hideous. That is ugly.
Nothing Phone 2A is the final leak that came out this week. So I know we talk about the and I'm drawing a blank. The phone, drawing a blank. Anyway, I'll come back to it. I looked at this design and it kind of brought up some memories of what is the phone I'm thinking of? Kickstarter phone, ugly white.
Oh, the Nextbit Robin.
Nextbit Robin, thank you. It gave me a little bit of Nextbit Robin kind of vibe.
I love that phone.
And so did I. It was for the money. That was like, I paid like $200 for that phone. And I was like, it was amazing.
$200 Canadian? No, I'm just kidding.
It was like $199 Canadian, I think, off the top of my head. I bought one for me and a buddy at work because they were so cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, why not? But this is the alleged leak of the Nothing Phone 2A. Looking very Nothing Phone-y, apart from this centralized camera loop.
That is so Photoshop crap.
I don't know, because looking at one of the leaked images from earlier on, if I can find it, this one here. This was
what the hell is that?
So this was the leaked image of the phone in a case.
Huh.
I guess
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a prototype case. Like they sometimes will put prototype phones in a case so that people don't see the phone.
Like cars are wrapped in camouflage. Correct.
Yeah. So if what we're seeing here is true, I actually think this might be the design of the Pixel.
So what I've heard is the 2A is not going to have glyph. And this is all hearsay, and they're saying it's going to be twice as good as the phone 1, which can't be hard to do because it's got a mid-range processor, and they're expecting it to have a Dimensity like 720 or something.
Yeah, there was some
MediaTek,
leaks
somewhere.
I don't even know. It's
going to be a mid-range phone. I think the 2 is still going to be their flagship device.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Now
I don't know how I feel about and maybe it's because I'm kind of being a stickler, but the vertical glyph on the, I guess if you're looking at it's straight. And it's not curved too, and it just bothers me.
Yes.
I would thought it would be curved with the other ones. Like why that one is straight is a little weird, especially that close to the circle. If you want to make it straight, offset it a bit, maybe push it out to the frame a bit. Yeah. I don't know. It's bothering me that thing's perfectly straight.
Well, what's this black thing right here? Like I don't know what this black dot is right next to that thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's.
I think someone took that first. Someone took that first picture of the case and then Photoshop.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're really a Nothing fan and you don't want to spend a whole truckload of cash and you don't really care about the glyphs, but you want the OS and you want the build and it's pretty decent, little phone, you can get it for $299. Why not? I mean, who cares, man? I mean, it's like, I don't necessarily. I mean, it's not aesthetically pleasing, but you're probably going to throw a case on it. And if it's $299, maybe you don't. And who cares? I mean, it's definitely unique. I mean, if we're talking about uniqueness of the device, it's clearly identifiable as a device. It clearly says Nothing on it. But even if it didn't, you would know it's not a Pixel or a Samsung.
Well, and that's the brilliance of Android, in my opinion, because we have price range choice, we have brand choice, UI choice. So it may not be for you and me, but someone may like this along the line. That's the one I've seen. That looks more realistic.
Yeah, I think that well, again, then now then people are like, oh my God, just pull up that image and then pull up the iPhone 16.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Exactly the same.
I think you're
and
kind of in that.
So just for the record here.
Right, and just for giggles, right? I mean, it's like,
So,
again, and it's what really does the company want to do? Like,
exactly.
And guess what?
And back to Tim Cook, he's the CEO. If he wants to be in a commercial and he wants to be that guy,
I
don't think anybody's marketing team is going to tell Tim Cook no, because he could fire him. So he's like, "Hey, Tim, you want to be in a commercial?" Tim's like, "Yeah, I want to do it." And he's like, "They're like, of course they'll set it all up, and you'll see what you saw, right?" And they're probably to each other going, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like, hey, I don't really care. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Tim Cook could punch Usher in the face on live television, and I think they'd sell 1 billion units. At this point, Apple can't lose. Like, everybody said the Vision Pro, is it a success? I said, yeah, Apple got it to market.
Yep.
It's automatically a success.
Yep.
Well,
they succeed in anything they deliver to market. If it's actually commercially purchasable, it's a success.
Well, actually,
They
you know
will make
what?
it so.
This is actually Tech Disruptors first. I was just scrolling through X here.
I know. We were already waiting for it.
There it goes.
No,
we go.
and this is legit. Like, I'm just reading this story now.
Yeah.
So, what's the guy from Nothing? Is it Carl Pei? Is that his name?
Yep.
Okay.
It's Carl Pei.
So I was just looking through their their Twitter account here, and he's apparently responded to the leaks that someone posted earlier this morning. I'm just gonna see if I can play this. Oh, no, sorry. Let me go 1 second. Hang on.
It's not going to be the Apple commercial.
No, it's not the Apple commercial. No, sorry. No, I apologize. He's posted an image of the Nothing Phone 2A.
Oh, here we go.
And there it is. And, so,
hey,
I mean,
I got to do one thing. So you're talking about the Vision Pro. I know we're actually out of time.
Okay. Go ahead. No, it's okay.
So this popped up on my feed. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. So we all know about AI, right? No, it's not funny. We have the Humane Pin AI, whatever it's called. You got the Rabbit R1. You've got ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. This popped up. The Brilliant Frame AI glasses, and you can pre-order them for what, $349? And if you want to input your prescription glasses, what makes me so enthused about these? It's bringing back Google Glass vibes, which I loved. Google Glass. It was a simple pair of glasses with a little screen you could look at and give you notifications. And this is not quite the same thing, but it's overlaying just a simple little screen with. Now, I'm not sure it's going to notifications, and they don't say a whole much about it.
That design is the fucking ugliest style of glasses I've ever seen.
The most hipster design that everyone wants.
They're not my favorite kind of frame.
But what do you think? This company previously, if you look at their website,
Yeah.
I want to say like they had the monocle last year. They had a monocle, like literally a smart monocle. Let me see.
Jesus, what are you? Who is this?
Please,
like,
I gotta see that.
I know. I
gotta have. Does it come with a digital pocket watch?
It's not letting me look at the.
So you can put it in your vest. I mean, really? Come on now. I mean,
like they had a. It was. I think it was maybe earlier this year. They had a monocle.
Can we please live in a world where the smart monocle, becomes the default wearable device? Because I would rock that.
So
would I.
Monocle.
I
also want an
I'm gonna look it up real
pocket
quick.
watch on a chain. I want that to
Yes.
come back.
Oh my
dude, that's gangster right there.
Yeah.
That's some
Here we
Peaky
go. Hold on.
Blinders stuff right there. I'm in.
Monocle. Here we go.
That's-
Oh, what the hell is that? I'll show you what the website.
Do you want to know?
I don't think this is what we're looking at here. I'll show you what they show here, but I don't think this is a finished product.
Please tell me this is the Monopoly man.
And you could still pre-order it. It's literally something you hold in your hand.
Oh, I swear to God, if you make this a Tim Cook,
No, it's basically so you have a little egg.
Oh, it's like a
and you overlay it on your glasses.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
a cooler idea.
Isn't that cool?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of a steampunk vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's got a steampunk thing.
Now you can pre-order that.
Now that's pretty cool.
And we'll go ahead and order it.
Smoky black.
Oh wait, it jumps you to the frames. You can't order it anymore.
Oh, you can't order the monocle anymore, right?
Oh,
yeah,
dude. But yeah, the monocle's cool.
I like that idea.
So, the frames are $349 with regular lenses, and then I think it's $100 more for prescription. But you can only do like your basic plus minus, and I can't get them because I have a prescription that's never going to work with these.
Right.
So I'm kind of out of luck. But
now, did you get the Vision Pro, or you've got it coming? Is that true? Because I know you.
I ain't got that shit coming. Come on, I was yanking. You're like, I'll be honest with you. I have the Quest 3, and that thing does everything that mostly everything that the Vision Pro can do, just not as good, not as high quality, if that's what you want to say. And I can pinch and play. I want to play games. I don't want to do work on my VR headset.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's just me.
Here's the thing, and real quick about the Vision Pro, I had a chance to use a HoloLens, and I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, that was windows on your head. It was neat, like AR, and you could put Outlook on a wall, and you could look at it. And
I saw an article.
I actually got the demo.
I saw an article. They said the HoloLens was actually is still even today more advanced than the Vision Pro. And again, it's article, it's subjective, but I think they say it's more.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to use a Vision Pro, but I did have, and this was like 6 or 7 years ago. I actually had a Microsoft event where I actually got to use the device for about half an hour. Nice. I thought it was incredibly awesome. So it was incredible.
Did you guys ever watch Ryan really Trahan on YouTube?
Yeah,
no.
You know who he is? He's got like he's like a vlogger kind of guy. He just posted a video where he did 50 hours with the Vision Pro.
Yes, I saw that.
And I mean, I'm assuming he takes it off when he sleeps because you can't only last 2 hours. But he kind of came to the point where it's like, this is not where I want to be. Like, but at the same time, it's like some of the timers, like he was cooking 2 different things, and he like in space put 2 timers above those things, and he walked away and came back, and timers were still there. That kind of stuff is kind of cool, but it's like, how often am I going to actually use this? Like some of these use cases are amazing. Like, I'm going to type on a big screen, but am I actually going to type? I don't know.
I thought the HoloLens had a really nice enterprise and professional approach to it.
Right. Yes.
And I thought it was kind of cool. Like I said, it was. I just thought it was funny was, they said it was $3,000 and it really wasn't commercially available. However, we balked at that, and I think spatial computing can be a thing. I mean, the military bought HoloLens and they're using them, right? Now in what capacity? I don't really know, because it's kind of been, DoD bought a bunch and they're using them for whatever reason they're using them. But I just find it interesting that Microsoft did this HoloLens thing and nobody wanted to take a swing on it. They thought it was overpriced and it's silly, and the same arguments that we make, right? But again, Apple has transcended any kind of logical approach to the reason why they make a thing, right?
Yeah.
Talk to somebody, and remember, Microsoft has created is enterprise, right?
Yes.
And Android has created this. Apple has created fanatics.
Yes.
Like people who are believers.
Yes.
Right. And then when it happens is when you create an environment, call it what you want. You can agree with it, disagree with it, the approach. But people, they see Apple as more, not even just a status thing, but they believe in Apple so completely that it really, you can't argue with somebody who's a believer.
No,
right? And what do they call it? A partisan, right?
It's like politics. If you're a Republican Democrat, you're not going to change your mind. Yeah.
Right. And again, you can have that discussion, but I think, and to a certain extent, I think Apple has no longer become just a tech tool to use. It's become an all-encompassing belief system, right?
Yes.
It's almost become, it's quasi-religious in a way, right? People believe it even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and will justify it negative, and then people will attack it with the same level of idiocy, right? It's like, okay, why do you care that you want to use FaceTime? Like, I thought it'd be interesting why not in that article with Tim, right? The picture when he's wearing the Usher shirt. Why isn't Tim using a HoloLens or Vision Pro in that commercial?
Yes.
You might as well. Strike while the fire is hot. And everybody's like,
I don't think Tim Cook liked the Vision Pro. I have a funny.
It wasn't what he wanted. But technology is not there yet. But Sam, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hands on a HoloLens, and I'm going to do 50 hours in the HoloLens.
In HoloLens,
dude, I'm telling you,
that's how Apple's
30 minutes,
right?
And that's if you got 30 minutes with it, especially 6 years ago, it was like, you have essentially windows on your head, and you could like put your Outlook on the wall, and you could do all those things. And it was like nice because if you had an email, you had a notification that came up and it said, you got an email about a business meeting or a Teams meeting. You could just look to your right, and it was on the wall because you had pasted it there, and you could look over and go, oh, that's from, okay, I'll get to that later, right? And you could swipe it away, and you could do this. You could move windows in and out and tab them all out, and had, obviously at that point it was Explorer, right? Edge wasn't really a thing yet. Actually, the funny thing was the original build of Windows 10, the original browser was called Project Spartan.
Oh,
because it was going after, because again, Cortana, it was going after and why they ditched Spartan as a browser? because when they put it to market, people only identified Microsoft's browser as a big blue E.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what the helmet, they didn't catch the Halo reference. So Microsoft took the E and made Edge.
Yeah, right.
They made it a big blue E. So it was interesting.
But you made a good point, because like Apple can go out and people can be, there's memes, people wearing the Vision Pro on a bus, walking across the street, driving their Teslas. But you don't see people doing that with the HoloLens or the Quest, because it's not stupid. It's a different. The Quest 3 is an amazing device, but it's not on the same level that Apple
and plus,
is.
you wouldn't even consider using that outside of your home, right? And so I think that's where
you
we
can't
are.
Use the Quest 3 outside,
so,
technically.
and that's what I'm saying. So again, it's like, just if you're a tech person, regardless of how you feel about the Vision Pro, whether it has a use case or if you have to fill in the blanks and make use cases, the fact that exists now should be exciting as hell to you.
Yes.
The fact that, I mean, you talk about the competition. Well, don't be that guy and say only if it's the competition on the OEM that I like.
Yes.
Well, Samsung's working on something. Everyone's that's what I want. I want Apple doing this. I mean, Meta's been out for how long doing this, and they haven't got a huge. They haven't got a huge hold.
HTC Vive, right?
Correct.
That's a really cool, nice headset. Yeah. Like I think we want this spatial computing, whether or not it becomes part of your routine. But I saw the demos of it. I think it's pretty awesome. Like I wouldn't buy one because I don't need $3,500 worth of hardware like that.
Right. So you bought three, right? You bought 3 of them,
right? I just bought I bought a dozen. I'm just going to give them.
So you got that new car, that Mustang. You drive it when you're driving Mustang, right?
Yes,
right. I don't even drive the Mustang. I just sit in space and float through the air, and I have my Vision Pro.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, I think but to think about it, as this becomes more of a, remember, plasma TVs first came out, they're like $12,000. Right now, plasma's not even a thing. Yep. But I mean, you can buy a really nice TV for like $600-700, but originally those OLED TVs were expensive. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine a Vision Pro? Something in its current iteration being like $1,100 or $1,000 or
with carrier deals.
Well, or just you buy it straight up when you buy a Mac and you for an extra $500 they throw in a Vision Pro and it hooks in.
That's your monitor.
Like you're dialed in. Yep. I mean, let's champion this, and this, even though evil empire, right? It's Apple, right? But let's.
It's you and Tim Cook, you got something with this guy. I don't know.
I think it's a little quasi
crush,
kind of erotic.
Listen, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I just hope I can look as handsome and youthful as that man.
Or as bored in that picture.
Don't worry, you work much better. You're just not going to be the CEO of Apple.
Well, there's that.
I don't care how I look. I look like Quasimodo if I could have some of that Skrilla. I'd say Skrilla. I'm okay.
Yeah, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't give a crap what people thought of me.
Exactly.
Not that I care now, but
I will let Tuna and Darren punch me in the face for that kind of money.
Really?
I just get a new face.
Well, you better get some money. No, I'm just we're gonna help you out. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Well,
it's a good time.
It's thank you very much, guys. That actually brings us to the end of the show, and I know Tuna was a little bit upset about the Vision Pro not being able to watch his adult content on there.
Yeah. He's a Prime.
He's a Prime. Yeah. And I also understand that the Vision Pro doesn't have notifications from your smartphone. Figure that one out.
It'll get updates. It'll get better.
Of course it will.
It's just the beginning.
But remember, you don't buy a product based on the
here we go.
It's updated, right? So you don't buy an S24 Ultra hoping that they're going to fix the camera. But on that note,
motion blur sucks.
Motion blur sucks. Yes. On that note, thank you very much for everybody that's tuning in. Thank you for those who are tuning in live. Thanks to those who are checking this out after the fact. And just remember, hit that like, subscribe button. And check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else you find amazing content, even iHeartRadio, which I actually think is my favorite name for a streaming service, but we'll come back to that. I know.
I was waiting for someone to do it. Good thing it wasn't me. No, just kidding.
So
positively pushing P.
Exactly. And all we do on the Tech Disruptors podcast is push positivity, right, Jason?
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No cap.
No cap. Exactly.
No cap.
On that note, thank you very much. We will catch you on the next one. Thanks very much, guys. Catch